The in-house book written for the patients, your stroke journey. In the stroke unit here, a guide for people living with stroke. It's a Canadian stroke best practices. It's a nice book. These are the contents of the book. And then there's something written here as a community of survivors members. So anybody can join this club. Well, this is about understanding stroke. So I'm going to read from page 12 of this book, Understanding Stroke. And this is the picture that we will concentrate on. So it writes, they say the brain is the control center of your body. It controls how you think, feel, communicate, and more, and move. Knowing how your brain works can help you understand your stroke. Now, in the brain, you have what is the brain cells. The brain is full of specialized cells called neurons. These neurons make the brain work. To work properly and even to survive, they need to be fed by a constant supply of blood. Blood vessels of the brain, arteries and veins, are types of blood vessels in your body. Arteries carry blood rich in oxygen and nutrients to your organs. Veins carry waste products away from your organs. Cerebral arteries are the arteries of the brain. Normal brain functions need a constant supply of oxygen and nutrients. Now, when a stroke happens, the blood flow is disrupted. Some brain cells do not get the oxygen and nutrients they need. When the cells die, that area of the brain cannot function as it did before. So this is page 13 where they have shown the hemispheres of the brain. Functions of the two hemispheres is written. Now the brain is divided into two parts called hemisphere. The right hemisphere and the left hemisphere. The right hemisphere, as you see, of your brain controls the left side of your body. The left hemisphere of your brain controls the right side of your body. And some functions are controlled by both. So let me show you the left hemisphere. What does it do? First of all, it controls the right side of the body. And here, as the pictures suggest, that is your spoken language, then your number skills, your scientific functions, your written language, reasoning, all of these are controlled where? In the left hemisphere of your brain. So this is the left hemisphere, and that controls the right side of your body. So now I'll show you the right hemisphere. So let's take the right hemisphere that controls the left side of the body. Now, in the right hemisphere, the brain takes care of your music skills, your spatial orientation, your artistic functions, your art awareness, hearing, insight, creativity basically, and reading. So that is your right hemisphere. It looks to all of these. Right? Now I'm reading from page 14 of the book. Regions of the brain and what they control. Now look at this. This is a diagram of the brain. And you can see these lobes which are shown in different colors. And the yellow one is the frontal lobe. This is the blue one is the parietal lobe. This is the green one is the occipital lobe. Then the pink one is the temporal lobe. So these are the 4 lobes. And then you have what is the cerebellum, and then you have what is the brain stem, right? So we will take each one and I'll just read what's written out there. So the yellow one is the frontal lobe, and here this takes care of a person's personality, emotions and arousal, intelligence, ability to concentrate, make decisions, plan, put things in order, solve problems, awareness of what is around you, voluntary movement, ability to speak and write, and behavior control. All of this is at the frontal lobe. This blue one shows the parietal lobe or parietal lobe. So what does it look after? It takes care of the sensations, pain, touch, temperature, understanding and interpreting sensory information such as size, color and shape, understanding space and distance, and math calculations. So that's what is the parietal lobe. Let's see the pink one now. What does it show? The temporal lobe, ability to understand language, hearing, memory, long-term storage of memories, organization and planning, behavior and emotions. That's what it is. The green one is the occipital lobe, that is for vision, then interpreting what you see. At the base of the brain, as you see, this is the cerebellum. This is for balance, motor movement, coordination, posture, fine motor skills. And here is the brain stem, that is, which connects, goes down the stem. It is for breathing, heart rate control, consciousness, alertness, wakefulness, swallowing, blood pressure, and sweating. So all of these. Now I'm reading from page 15. You've written, you can see, know the signs of stroke. Face, is it drooping? Arms, can you raise both? Speech, is it slurred or jumbled? Time to call 911, that is the ambulance, etc. So what happens during a stroke? A stroke happens when blood stops flowing to any part of your brain. You can see the brain there, the diagram. This interruption causes damage to the brain cells, which cannot be repaired or replaced. The effects of your stroke depend on the part of the brain that was damaged and the amount of damage done. So, some treatments that can help reduce the effects of a stroke are time sensitive. For example, a person having a stroke caused by a blood clot can receive a clot-busting drug within 4.5 hours after symptoms begin. That makes it important to know the signs of stroke and to call the ambulance 911 right away. Do not drive. An ambulance will ensure you get to the hospital most able to treat stroke. So there are 2 types of strokes. One is the ischemic stroke, that is due to a clot. Blood clot stops the flow of blood to an area of the brain. That's what it is. So the blockage can be caused when a substance called plaque builds up on the inside wall of the artery. The blockage or clot grows as blood cells and fat cells stick to the plaque. Gradually, it grows big enough to block the normal blood flow. So that is what it is. And this is the hemorrhagic stroke. You can see the picture in which the artery in the brain breaks open. So there's a blood flow that can cause brain cells to die, leading to injury to the brain. So a blood vessel rupture causes this. So high blood pressure makes arteries weak over time. It is a major cause of hemorrhagic stroke. Weak spots in the arteries called aneurysms can stretch too far and eventually burst. There's something known as mini strokes, that is the transient ischemic attack, TIA. It's a warning stroke. They are warning that a more serious stroke may occur soon. So it is caused by a small clot that briefly blocks an artery. Well, so other causes also are there, such as a tumor, an infection, or brain swelling due to an injury or illness. Some people have irregularities in their arteries at birth that can cause a stroke later in life. So how does the stroke affect my body? It's written. It depends on the type of stroke, ischemic or hemorrhagic, the side of the brain where the stroke occurred, right or left hemisphere, the regions of the brain affected by the stroke, the size of the damaged area in the brain, and the body functions controlled by the affected area, and the amount of time the brain area had no blood flow, the time it took to get to hospital to receive treatment. So all of these will determine how the stroke affects the body. So a message for caregivers: look after your own physical and emotional health. Stroke recovery can take a toll on everyone. Caregivers are particularly vulnerable. You may tend not to take a break or look after your own health. Juggling roles and providing daily support can be taxing and tiring for even the most devoted person, no matter how happy you are to take on this role. To prevent burnout, it helps to eat well, stay active, get a good night's sleep, and take time for an enjoyable activity. Caregivers and family members should watch themselves and one another for signs of burnout. Reach out for support to family, friends, and support groups or programs and the healthcare team if you see signs like these. So you as a caregiver might feel uneasy, unusually tense or edgy, or being angry at the person with stroke or others, or third, feeling grief, sad, tearful, or dissatisfied with life in general, or feeling very tired and saying things like it's too much. Then no longer seeing friends, losing interest or energy for activities you enjoy, or getting sick more often and taking an unusually long time to recover. Turning to unhealthy coping mechanisms such as heavy alcohol use or recreational drugs. Feeling out of control with no sense of how to regain that control. Having trouble sleeping or having disturbing dreams. Not eating well. So a very important message for the caregivers on page 10 of this book. So here there are some wise sayings by the or thoughts of the stroke victims, what they've written or what they feel. So Lou writes, the stroke is with me every day and affects everything I do. Life has become a series of adjustments to make daily life work for me. I have grown as a person and fully appreciate the simple things in life. I now live my life more for today and enjoy and appreciate the many things I once took for granted. And then Lindsay writes or says, you can't compare your stroke to someone else's. Or Dawn says, be positive. Attitude is everything. And Carol here says, you are more than your stroke. So when the stroke strikes, you are done. But you have to again get up, because the brain is not what it is in one tiny fraction of a second. So you have to begin to learn or to start your life once again. That's what this book tells you. Oh, all the very best.